Back when I used to play in piano competitions, one of the competitions that I took part in was a Beethoven competition, where I had to play a Beethoven sonata from memory, and I played Beethoven's Fifth Sonata, and I remember sitting there watching the people who were playing before me, and I was trying to rehearse the notes in my head so that I could remember them. The problem is, when I was playing it through in my head, thinking about the notes on the page, I got to maybe 3/4 of the way through the first page, and I was completely blank in the head, more so than normal, and that's saying something. After about 10 minutes of mild panic, it was my turn to go up and perform, and I thought maybe when I get to that section in the music, it'll just happen. I'll be able to just play it, because surely I've played it so many times that my hands will just do it for me. But what actually happened was I got on stage and I played the piece, and I was thinking about that section of the music the entire time I was playing through that first page, and I got to that moment and I completely blanked, and I just sort of sat there and stared at the keys. So then I stopped playing and I tried to go back a few bars and try and give it another run up as if that was going to help. And I did this about 2 or 3 times and then just sat there for 10 seconds in silence while there's an audience watching, very embarrassed, thinking that my worst nightmare had come true. As you can probably imagine, I didn't win that competition, but I did learn something pretty valuable. If you rely on your muscle memory and just hope that your hands are going to do it, you don't have any backup if that form of memory fails you. So you might be asking, if you don't have the sheet music in front of you, what other form of memory is there? Well, if I was to ask you to recite the story of Little Red Riding Hood to me, for example, you would probably be able to give me some version of the story. And that's because you have the memory of the key elements in that story. There's a girl that goes through the woods to her grandma's house. Her grandma's been eaten by a wolf and the wolf tries to eat her, for example. This is very similar in music if we look for wider patterns within the music. A good example of that, in that exact sonata that I played, the opening is just outlining a C minor chord. So all of those notes, all I need to think is that's a C minor chord, and that is a second layer of memory.